what I wanted to do today as part of this video or this tutorial, I wanted to just go through kind of a crash course of Photoshop. So I think a couple of you have used Photoshop, yes? Yep, okay. So I just wanted to go through kind of a crash course on some of the things that you might want to consider when creating your poster and just some of the key things. So up on my screen right now, I've got Photoshop opened up and I have selected a new file. I suggest for this, the easiest thing is if you, up the top, if you select print and then select, really it doesn't matter what size. Oh, actually, no, go A3. Because we're going to try kind of replicate this as much as we want, as if we're printing off a poster. So like A3, or is there A2? Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't go bigger than A2. But yeah, so I suggest picking A3 and make sure you have all your settings set. It's all pretty much fine. So once you select it and press create, it should open it up. Beautiful. You should have a blank page. What I want us all to do is I want us to get an image. So if we have an image on our laptop, or if we find an image, it can be of anything. So let's say we want to get one of our photos onto Photoshop. There's a couple ways we can do that. If we go up to File and we press Open, it'll take us to our folders. What we want to do is we just want to locate our images. So I'm going to go through my 101 folders to find it. Photoshop. So what we can do is we can select all of these and press Open. So what's happened is now it has opened our three images, Bluey, Tilted Towers, and Scream, as almost separate tabs within Photoshop, which is fine because what we are going to want to do is basically we want to edit each of these photos before we do anything. So except for Tilted Towers, so we'll start here. This is the simplest thing. So say you want to take this image and you want to put it into your current project. What we are going to do is we're going to select that tab. Now, if we're going to do keyboard shortcuts, you're going to do Command A or Control A, and it is going to select your image. As you can see, you should have like a dotted line outline come up on your image. What you're then going to do is, we'll just stick with the keyboard shortcuts. If we go we've done Control A. If we do Control C, it's copied it, or Command C, and then we want to paste it. So Command V, and it'll appear there. So we've got our image on our project. Now, obviously, it's a little bit small. We want to enlarge it. So there's two things we want to do first. If you have a look on the right, if your layout's the same, you'll see something in the bottom right which has your layers. So basically, good thing with Photoshop is that everything that you paste on, it'll keep track of what it is and it'll be put into your project as a layer. You can rename those layers, so I'm just going to rename it to Fortnite so I know what it is. Here we have our image. I've just pressed undo. So what you want to do is on the left, select the Move tool. You should be able to move it around. Now, the thing is, it's not letting us transform it, shrink it, grow it. Up the top of your window, there should be a button that says Show Transform Controls. You want to make sure that is clicked. It'll then let us enlarge it. You've enlarged an image, and as you can see, it's pixelated because it's still the same resolution as when it was smaller. What it's going to do is, once you've done that, you'll see up the top, you should have like a tick or like a cross. So if you press the cross, that's going to like cancel the current transformation that you're doing. If you press the tick or just press enter on your keyboard, you're basically saying, yep, it's all good, and it's going to save it in your project as it is. And it'll refocus and it will not be pixelated. So now we've done our background. We now have two images that we want to include. So here we have Bluey. With our photo of Bluey, as we just want to remove Bluey from the background. So there's a couple things we can do. What we can do is we can use the eraser tool. So if we click that, or it's E as a shortcut, we can start erasing. Now, we got to be careful though, because this isn't erasing just the background. Like this is just, well, it's erasing part of it, but it's not removing, I guess, whatever we're erasing, it's not like deleting that from the image. If we were to take this whole image, so if we do the same thing, we select it all, copy it, and then paste it here, it should. Here we go. So if I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but here we have our bluey. As you can see, what we've erased has also come a part of that image, which is not what we want. So we want to, there's another thing we can do, and this might help you with more minute details. There is a background eraser tool. So if we go to our eraser tool on the left and we right click it, it'll come up with multiple options. We want to make sure we have our background eraser tool selected, because as we go, it now is removing the image and it's coming up with our checkered background, which is like our transparent key. If I were to now select this again, copy it, and put it into this image, as you can see, it's cut out. Now, obviously, to do that for this whole image, it would take a long time. So, like I said, doing like a background eraser tool is for more minute details. What we can do is, if we look back at our tools on the left, there is a button that is like a square with a mouse. It's the object selection tool. So the good thing about this is we can use this, and it's, if we hover over specific areas, so if we hover over like the bluey, it'll lighten up everything. If we hover over the character, it'll select that. We can click that, and if I move away, as you can see, bluey is now got like a dotted line around it. I left out the hand. Yep, so as you can see, this hasn't perfectly selected it, because with the program of Photoshop, it's tried to automatically select it. So now I guess what we want to do is we want to make sure that all of bluey is selected. If we right click our object selection tool, there's an option called quick selection tool, which is what we want to use. So, no, that's not what I want.
That's the right one.
There we go. Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do is, if at any point, this is like if you're trying to select an object and it's not working for you, or you want to like restart, what you want to do is, if you right click and press deselect, it gets rid of anything that is outlined. However, you need to make sure that you click inside what is outlined. What we are going to do is, we are going to manually select bluey. So, as you can see, we have our circle. There is a way to, so at the moment we have a fairly decent sized circle. As we're hovering over bluey, an outline starts to appear. I'm just going to zoom in. So you might be a bit difficult to see, but there's like a dotted outline appearing. As we click, bluey will start to be selected. Now, with what we have here, as you can see, it's gone a bit outside of what we want. So if we are pressing on our Mac keyboards, if we hold Option, you should see the plus inside the circle become a minus. What we can do then is deselect the areas that we don't want included. Let's say I'm here and I want to get rid of, so I'm going to get my background eraser tool. So at the moment it's still selected. I can press something else, keep it selected. Now, right now, I'm clicking and holding on the outside of Bluey, but nothing's happening because it's only going to affect what's in the selected area. So, I killed her. So, same thing, if I change the size, I'm going to put it down very low to, let's say 5. I'm going to bring it down to 5, excuse the bell. I'm going to now start selecting kind of the outline. I'm not going to try spend too much time on this. Cut to when it's done. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna keep it like that. So at the moment, we have, there's a bit up there. So at the moment, we have Bluey selected and we've erased a little bit around Bluey. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do our same thing before where we copy and paste. Because Bluey's the bit that's selected, if we Command C to copy, let's zoom out again here. If we press Command V and paste, we only have a tiny little Bluey here selected. Oops. So Bluey's very small.
Bluey dropping in.
Yep. So Bluey is going to come here. Bluey's very pixelated, but we're going to put Bluey.
Very big Bluey.
Yeah, we're gonna put Jumbo Bluey up on the tower here. And if we press Enter, there we go. We have our Bluey.
Can you edit smaller with the glider?
No. So here we go. We're going to do the same thing with our Scream, where we're going to use our quick selection tool. With this one, I'm going to try use the object one, the object detecting one. So object selection, there we go. So with this, it's really struggling, so we can't do much. So we want to use our quick selection tool.
He's just watching.
So we've got our quick selection tool here. I'm going to make it bigger again. Let's go back up to 40. Here we go. We're going to start selecting our Scream. This one will probably be a little more easier because it's the lines and edges. It's easier for Photoshop to detect. So here we go. Same thing. We're going to copy it, what's selected, and paste it. We're going to make sure that we use our Move tool. So I'm using a lot of the shortcuts. So like V for move. And here we go. Here we have Bluey and the famous Scream painting here in Tilted Towers. Now, what we need is a title, or we need to put some text on this. So there's two ways.
Bluey.
Sorry?
Dumb Bluey.
We're not going to call it Dumb Bluey.
Bluey's not dumb.
So we have two ways we can do add a text. We can click our tool here on the left, where there's the horizontal type tool. If we right click it, we can do vertical, but for now we'll just go horizontal. The keyboard shortcut for that is T as well. So if we were to just click, here we go, a very small text comes up. But we can change that as well up the top, where let's make it 72. There we go, it's a bit bigger. So we've got,
Right, Bluey, awesome.
I'm going to call it the Screaming Adventures of Bluey. Now, as you can see, as I've written, it's kind of just gone off to the side. What you want to do is sometimes you just need to press Enter, put it on a new line to sort it out like that. So we have the Screaming Adventures of Bluey. Oops. I'm going to adjust the text so that it's all on that side. I'm just going to fix a couple things. There we go. All right, so here we have the Screaming Adventures of Bluey. Whoops. I'm going to make sure I click the tick up here. And here we go. We've got our text. Now, on the side here, I forgot to name them, our layers. I'm just going to make sure I name them so we know what's what. Now, at the moment, as you can see, we have Bluey covering up the text. We also have the text in the wrong position. We can adjust our order of the layers. So we have Bluey, we have the text. If we say click Bluey and pull it down, Bluey is now behind the text. So very much like with Microsoft Word if you're changing the order of layers. We can also move the text. So we want to make sure that we've selected our text and we've got our Move tool selected. we can move it across, and here we go. We have the Screaming Adventures of Bluey. It is all lined up. A lot of dead space. We can even adjust it. We can make it bigger, pull it down. We can change the font as well. As long as we have our, what's it called, our text tool selected. Here we go. Let's select it all, and let's change it to, here, we can even change it to emojis up. Let's pick a random, here we go. No, that's very much the same. I want something, the Egyptian symbols. What, Webdings? Or do you want Webdings 2 or Webdings 3? Here, I kind of like this. So I'm going to just make it smaller. And then I'm just going to readjust it quickly. There we go. Here we go. This is our poster. Now this is very quick put together. Now obviously there could be other things that I could do. So for example, if I wanted to, I could change the color of the background. So at the moment I've selected the Fortnite background. There's a little tab on the side here called Adjustments. So if I click Adjustments, it'll come up with a bunch of different things. So you can do the brightness and contrast. You can do exposure. There should be a color one or channel mixer. So here we go. I can, hold on, let's see, is it going to work? There we go. See, I can change the color of it. I can make it more reddish. If I want to, I can change the brightness. So I can, let's say if I increase the contrast, the shadows are emphasized. I can put down the brightness. Now, every time you do add an adjustment, if we look at our layer, above the Fortnite, our Fortnite layer is our brightness and contrast. And our channel mixer that we've done, I want to emphasize more of the blue. So let's put the red down. Here we go. Let's bring that, or here we go. There. Now, those are just some quick adjustments I've done. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. If you want, you can make it black and white. I know that there's a specific, color balance is another thing. See, there's all these things that you can adjust. So you can play around with it as long as you make sure you have your layer clicked. And then when you add the adjustments, you can then do what you want with it. Now, actually, something to be careful of. The order of the layer is where that brightness and contrast, or like that adjustment goes. So for example, I'm putting up the brightness and that's where the layer is, it's affecting everything. If I were to move it down below Bluey, is it gonna, hold on, maybe I need to do it the other way. There we go, so I've moved Bluey above the layer. That is the quick, I guess, crash course. Those are kind of like the main elements that you might want to play with. Oh yeah, that's going to